This happened when I was 11 years old. I was just a child, at an age when life is supposed to feel safe, predictable, protected. But what happened to me that winter followed me quietly into adulthood. It shaped my fear, my silence, and the way I see people, especially people I am supposed to trust. I grew up in a remote part of West Virginia, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. Doors stay unlocked, neighbors wave as they pass by. If a stranger came into town, people noticed and talked about it. Trust was normal there. You didn't earn it. You were born into it. Every year, right after New Year's Day, my parents and I went camping. It was our family tradition, not a vacation, but a ritual. It started with my grandmother many years before. We used those days to slow down, to reflect, to talk about the past year, what we wanted to leave behind, and what we hoped for next. There was no pressure, no noise, just family, fire, and quiet woods. I loved it more than anything. It was the one time every year when everything felt calm. I grew up in those forests. By the time I was 11, I knew the trails well. I knew which paths flooded and which trees marked the way back. My parents trusted me. They let me explore during the day, as long as I stayed close, and I always did. Until that day. It was the third day of the trip. The snow was thick, and the air was cold but still. I had my small notebook with me. I collected winter plants and pressed leaves. It was part hobby, part school project, and I took it seriously. That morning, I wandered a little farther than usual, not far enough to feel lost, just far enough to feel alone. That's when I heard it. At first, it was distant. A steady sound, metal hitting snow, over and over again. I stopped walking and listened. The sound continued. Curiosity took over. I should have turned back, but I didn't. I followed it. As I got closer, the sound became heavier, more violent. This wasn't just metal hitting snow. Something was being forced into the ground. Buried. My stomach tightened. I was scared. Then I saw him. It was our neighbor, a man I had known my whole life. He had watched me grow up, talked with my parents, someone everyone trusted. The moment I recognized him, I felt relief. Real relief. I let my guard down completely, and that was my second mistake. He looked up, and for a brief moment, I saw something on his face. Shock. Fear. Something dark. Something that didn't belong to someone familiar. He moved quickly, trying to hide what he was doing, but it was too late. I had already seen it. A human hand, frozen, half buried in the snow. My body went cold. Instinct took over, and I ran. I didn't get far. He was faster, stronger. He grabbed me and threw me to the ground. I screamed, loud and uncontrollable. I don't remember what he grabbed, only the pain. A hard blow to my head, and then darkness. When I woke up, everything hurt. My head was pounding. My mouth was gagged. My hands were tied. He was calm, too calm. That was the scariest part. He spoke softly, like this was planned, like he had done this before. He told me I had two choices. Disappear in the forest, or leave and never speak about what I saw. I was a child, terrified. I didn't understand everything, but I understood fear. I agreed immediately. Before he let me go, he leaned close and told me that if I ever spoke, he would find me again, and next time, he would hurt my parents. Then he released me. I ran. Blind, cold, lost. I don't know how long I wandered. Hours, maybe more. The next day, volunteers found me. My parents had reported me missing. Search teams were everywhere. I told them I got lost and hit my head on a tree. The hospital report said otherwise. They knew I had been struck, hard. Questions followed. Suspicion. My parents were questioned. Then suddenly, the investigation stopped. I never knew why. For years, I stayed silent. Every time I saw that man, smiling, talking, living normally, I felt sick. My mother noticed I had changed, quieter, more anxious. She thought it was trauma. She was right, but not in the way she believed. Eventually, we moved away. I grew up. Years passed, but the fear stayed, quiet, waiting. As an adult, I finally went to the police. I told them everything. They listened. They believed me. But there was no proof, no body, nothing they could act on. 2 days ago, I learned he was found dead inside his home. The police don't know what happened. But in a place like that, nothing happens without reason. I don't feel joy. Not relief exactly, but something close. For the first time in decades, I feel peace might be possible. And after a lifetime of fear, that feels earned. I have lived my whole life in Pennsylvania, not in a big city, and not deep in the wilderness either. Somewhere quiet, somewhere slow. Forests and mountains were always around me. Growing up, my parents took me hiking all the time. They taught me how to read the land, how to stay calm when things go wrong, and how not to panic. Because of that, the forest never scared me. It felt familiar. It felt safe. That morning, I planned to start my hike from a trail close to my house, a trail I knew very well. But heavy snow had blocked the road, and since it was still New Year's Day, no one had cleared it yet. So I chose another entrance, one farther away, one I had never used before. It didn't worry me. To me, a forest was a forest. The same rules applied everywhere. At least, that's what I believed. The moment I stepped into the woods, something felt wrong. Nothing looked strange. The trees stood still, the snow covered the ground, and the air was cold and quiet. But deep inside me, I felt uneasy, like someone was watching me. Not like an animal, but like a person. I stopped walking and listened. There were no footsteps, no voices, nothing at all. I told myself I was imagining things and kept going, but the feeling followed me. It stayed with me. Every few minutes, I turned around, expecting to see someone behind me, yet the trail was always empty. That should have made me feel safe. It didn't. The feeling never left. It only grew stronger. As time passed, my thoughts became heavy. I tried to stay logical. I told myself there was no reason to be afraid. I needed proof, I needed logic, and because I had none, I ignored my instincts. Looking back now, I know that was a mistake. By late afternoon, my mind felt exhausted, not my body, but my mind. That constant tension drained me, so I decided to stop early. I found a spot where the snow was packed down, good ground for a tent. It felt quiet, sheltered, safe enough. I set up my tent slowly and carefully. Routine helps me relax. I cooked a simple meal, nothing fancy, and made tea, hot and comforting. I sat inside my tent and watched videos on my phone just to pass the time. I don't remember what I watched, only that my eyes grew heavy, and I fell asleep much earlier than usual. I woke up suddenly, my heart pounding. I checked my phone. It was 11:30 p.m. Then I heard it, a voice, right outside my tent. Hello. I froze. At first, I thought I was dreaming. Then I heard it again. Hello. My whole body went cold. That word is friendly, harmless, but not there, not at night, not in the forest. I sat completely still. Every sound felt loud, my breathing, my heartbeat. I didn't know what to do. Stay inside, or look outside. Staying felt worse. So I grabbed the knife I always carry. My hands were shaking. Slowly, very slowly, I unzipped the tent. A man was standing there, very close. Too close. His face looked wrong, out of place. He smiled, but it wasn't a normal smile. It was wide and frozen. His eyes were empty, yet alert, like something dangerous was hiding behind them. In his hand, he held a knife, the blade catching the light. In that moment, everything became clear. That feeling all day, it hadn't been my imagination. He had been following me. I felt trapped. Running was impossible. My truck was miles away. My mouth opened, but no words came out. Fear does that. When I finally spoke, I told him I had a weapon. He didn't react. He only smiled wider and calmly said that it didn't matter. He said my ending would be the same. That sentence felt heavier than the knife. Then I noticed my thermos, still warm, still full of hot tea. I didn't think. I acted. I opened it and threw the boiling water straight into his eyes. He screamed and stumbled backward. That was my chance. I grabbed my emergency bag and ran. I didn't run blindly. I knew where I was going. The nearest town was only a few miles away, and if I kept moving, I could reach it. I ran through the snow and through the dark. My legs burned, my lungs hurt. I looked back several times, but I knew he wasn't following me. I had hurt him badly. I ran until I reached town. I called the police, then went to a motel. The staff saw how scared I was and helped me immediately. The police took my statement and drove me home. The next day, they went back to the campsite. My tent was destroyed. My belongings were gone. He had come back, angry. But I didn't care. I was alive. They never found him. The case is still open. I don't know what he wanted, but I know one thing for sure. I never went camping alone again. Some lessons, you only need to learn once. This happened more than 3 years ago. At that time, I still believed something very simple. I believed the forest was safe. To me, the woods were quiet, peaceful, a place to think, not a place for fear. I was living in northern Pennsylvania then. I had a job that paid the bills, but it drained me every day, mentally and emotionally. Whenever I had a free weekend, I escaped. I told myself that being alone in nature would fix things, that silence would clear my head. Looking back now, I know how wrong I was. This trip wasn't sudden. It was planned. And I wasn't alone. 2 close friends came with me, friends I trusted completely. We had camped together many times before. We were experienced, strong, careful. None of us were scared, and that alone should tell you how normal everything felt. We chose a familiar forest, one we had visited before, deep enough to feel isolated, but not too far from old trails and logging roads. That gave us comfort. A false comfort. We arrived in the late afternoon. The sky was already changing color, and the air was cold but manageable. Nothing felt wrong. We hiked for a couple of hours, talking and laughing, just 3 friends enjoying the quiet. When the lights started to fade, we set up camp. Everything felt normal, almost boring. We cooked a simple meal and talked about work and life, nothing important. Then we crawled into our sleeping bags. The forest was quiet, just wind moving through the trees. No strange sounds, no warning signs. We fell asleep believing the night would pass like any other. I don't know how much time passed before I woke up. I wasn't fully awake, stuck in that half-sleep state where your mind is slow. At first, I thought one of my friends had gotten up, maybe to use the bathroom. I stayed still. Then I heard it. A sound, far away. A scream. I sat up instantly, my heart jumping. For a moment, I told myself I had dreamed it. But then I heard movement outside the tent. Not footsteps, something heavier. Leaves shifting. Branches bending. I looked around. Both my friends were still inside the tent, asleep. I focused on their breathing, slow and steady, trying to calm myself. But then I felt it, that tension you feel when you're not alone. One by one, my friends woke up too. No words, just awareness. We all felt it. Something was wrong. I whispered, asking if they had heard a scream. They shook their heads no, but they sat up, alert. Then we heard it again, and this time there was no doubt. The sound was closer. It sounded like screaming, but also whispering, like several voices layered together. It didn't sound real. It sounded wrong. My stomach dropped. If I had been alone, I would have thought I was losing my mind, but all three of us heard it. That made it real. One of my friends, Manuel, moved toward the tent zipper. I felt frozen. I've always believed in paranormal things, and what we were hearing felt exactly like that. Manuel slowly unzipped the tent, just a little, then pulled his head back inside. His face was pale. His voice was shaking. He said, "There's a woman outside." My heart started racing. The sound began again, louder now. It didn't sound like one woman anymore. I whispered that it had to be more than one. That's when I tried to look. The tent had a small window. I leaned closer, and I saw her. She was standing outside, wearing white. Her hair was long and black. Her face was empty, no emotion, no life. In that moment, something inside me knew the truth. Either she was dying, or she was already dead. My friends looked again. Then I heard one whisper something I will never forget. "She's floating." I didn't need to hear anything else. That was it. I said we had to leave, immediately. I didn't care who she was or why she was there. I just knew we couldn't stay. There was no argument. We grabbed our bags and ran. Running through the forest at night is chaos. The ground is uneven, roots everywhere. My flashlight bounced wildly, and I was terrified of falling, of breaking an ankle. But fear kept me moving. We ran without stopping. Our breaths were loud and panicked, but we didn't look back. We didn't want to see her again. Thankfully, the car wasn't far. Less than 30 minutes later, we reached it. We jumped inside and drove away as fast as we could. No one spoke. There were no words for what we had seen. To this day, I don't understand it. I don't understand the sound or the woman. All I know is this: she was not from this world. And that sound, it lives inside me, even now. I know I will hear it again one day, even when I am old. We never went camping again. We never walked the Appalachian trails again. I miss it, but some places breathe things we are not meant to understand.